Welcome to Back to the Future Part 1 of a two-part video where we attempt to build a fun replica for the kids that looks very similar to the original and now very much iconic radios as featured in the Back to the Future trilogy. We first saw them in play in the second movie where Doc hands Marty a radio to keep in touch while he checks out Biff's house. These were genuine radios at the time, 49 megs kids toy radios with abysmal range, but of course, if you're accepting the time travel bit, you really have to accept the range that Doc and Marty appeared to get in the movie. Anyway, original versions of these go for a lot of money, £2,000 an auction per one, and anyone selling on eBay seems to want upwards of $200, which to ship them to the UK makes these very cost prohibitive for me for what is essentially just a child's toy. Anyway, these radios were manufactured by Radio Shack in the mid to early 80s and have been a successive range of radios under the Space Patrol brand for a number of years. So we fired up the 3D design software here, Design Spark, and I've based off of the photographs with nothing else to work off, I come up with an initial prototype for the unit. Now, some of you keen-eyed folks would notice that some of the design cues from the original are not on this radio. This again was just a proof of concept prototype, but it looks very close to the radio. Anyway, I worked on the principle, unlike some of the props I'd seen advertised online that people have made, I wanted to make this more of a functional unit with a working push-to-talk button and a working on-off switch at the top. I also thought it would be fun to incorporate a few other electronic parts, which we'll see a little bit later on in the video. The more I got into the design, the more I started to enjoy what I was seeing here and really sort of having a great deal of fun in making this look as close to the original as I could. But I also wanted it to be a sort of functional case that would be able to house electronics should I wish to put either a radio or other stuff in there. So I spent some time in also making the logo there, the Archer Space Patrol logo. That took me some time to get that right. But anyway, I've got that in 3D, although the resolution of the 3D printer isn't really man enough to print that on the case. So I may well have to look into a resin printer if I want that to be a 3D part to be fixed to the front. Anyway, for now I've printed a label on the demo version of this, which you'll see a little bit later, and what you'll see now. And again, on the colour side of things, when you look through on the internet, there's various different colours of this radio. The ones they used in the movie were a much lighter grey colour, whereas the retail ones that I've spotted were this type of colour. So I'm going to have to probably sit it somewhere between the two maybe anyway. But I was really pleased with how this case came out. I even managed to get the holes in the grill for the speaker noise. And like I say, I've just temporarily popped a sticker on there for now. The back piece, I'd run out of the same grey PLA, but the back piece also came out very nice with a nice finish to it as well. And I made space out the top for the silver label. Now again, in the movie, the radios were seen with the silver label, but this label I've not seen on any retail versions. So with that movie, there was a lot of brand placement in that movie with a Pepsi and things. So I'm wondering whether that was maybe the reason for that. Anyway, I got some orange PLA and made a PTT button, and this fits nice and flush in the case. And the idea with this is so I can use it to either trigger it as a radio or to trigger it to make some sounds, which you'll see in a second. So anyway, we should be able to, on the next iteration of this, put a casting in the case for a micro lever switch, which can be used for either a PTT button in the case of a radio or to trigger some sounds. I wanted a working on-off switch, so I found a spare one that I've had in the drawer, but I've ordered in a packet of 10 so I can make a few of these up for friends. So anyway, I was really pleased with that and how that looked. I found an antenna that was just the right 6-section antenna as per the original radio, and it was of the correct length should I want to make this a 49 meg radio. So anyway, that antenna stops at the correct height there within the case on the antenna stop, and as you can see now, it's starting to look a little bit more like it. So I just presented up the two halves of the case together to see what it looked like, and it snaps together nicely with no gaps in the side there. So I'm really pleased, and you often sometimes get warping with 3D printed parts, but I took some time to make sure that that didn't happen with this one. So anyway, as you can see, it's looking pretty close. but not exactly as per the original. Now, the one thing that I wanted to do was to match this sticker, unlike some people online, as you saw there, who just hand-drawn stickers. It's got to look right. So I spent some time in Photoshop making the correct silver sticker for the back of the radio, so this absolutely does match the radio nicely. And I think just the addition of that sticker does make all the difference to the sort of how real it looks anyway. So we're looking on the demo prototype here, very, very close to what I want. But as I started to look at the photographs, I started to realize more and more that the radio, the originals were less square than I've made this radio, and had a bit of a curvature to them. So I am going to address this in the final build anyway, but for now, the actual main functional side of this is great. And like I said, I did want a proper fixing screw to hold this unit together. I mean, if I do decide to sell a few of these items to the cosplaying community or anything like that, then I would like them to be sort of robust and tough and not sort of fall apart as soon as they were dropped. But that's not on the cards just at the moment, but I may well do that in the future. But this was really a fun toy to make for both of the kids for now, perhaps an early Christmas present or a stocking filler for the kids, so they can play it being Marty and Doc. I don't know which one would be which. But anyway, I've left a hole in the bottom there for an antenna screw, should I need to do that. But one of the main tricks I wanted with this was to not be a dummy radio. I wanted this to actually have a fun side to it. So what I found after a little bit of looking around was this, and it's a programmable audio board which has the ability to play sounds, and I've put a few in there. It's got a side on off switch, and I'm going to put a PTT. The PTT switch will be wired to the onboard switch on this. So, and I'll also mount it so that you can charge it through that USB through the side of the case. So you won't need to take the case apart to charge it. So if you want to change the sounds, you can do that without having to take the case apart. So anyway, I put that together in the 3D just to make sure it would fit inside the case, and you can have a little listen to what it sounds like here. I've got some clips.
Doc, you better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Next week I shall carry on with this video. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and we shall get further into hopefully finishing the radio, and I'll have something that looks pretty damn close to the original. If you have been...
Well, be careful! You don't want to get struck by lightning!
Thanks ever so much for watching.